Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to Grumpy Monkey Garage, where it never fails. As soon as you call something reliable, it breaks.
I can't get diamonds so pearls, and I don't wanna take you traveling the world, but I can love you. Yeah, I'm gonna love you. I'll give you all of what I've got. The fancy finds, baby, I have not. Just gonna love you. Yeah, I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you, babe. Cross my heart and hope to die.
Alright guys, so the bearing on my wife's Corolla here screams while going down the road. Not just growls or howls, because I have to fix customer cars to make money, and I don't make money fixing my wife's car. So until the noise gets loud enough, I hear her coming down the street to come home, then I'll actually fix it. So this is really bad. So we're going to replace it with a junkyard unit, because this is a press-in bearing, and that's a huge pain in the ass that we don't want to do. So we're going to do a yard unit, which comes as an assembly. They're really cheap because there's a ton of Corollas out there, and lots of people wreck them, as we said in our video doing the review, which you can look at here. If you dent one of these, they're totaled. So we found one that had exactly that situation. We're just going to put the driver one on though, because I got to get back to working on other things that pay my bills. So we're going to slap this used one in here, put it back together, go for a test drive, confirm it's fixed, and show you how to do it along the way. So this is how you take the brake caliper off. There's these two 14s back here. You're going to get the brakes off, you're going to get your rotor off, and then we're going to get our axle nut off, which we'll do creatively. We'll take our strut bolts out and our ball joint out and our tie rod. We'll put the new one in and do the inverse. So just follow along. We'll get, if something's complicated, I'll explain it as we get there, but these are pretty straightforward jobs. So don't work too hard killing yourself on these press-in bearings. The salvage yards have your back. They will bolt one off for you and just sell you the whole assembly, so you don't have to rent a press or take it somewhere and get it pressed. Forget all that. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to put that much money into an old car either, so it's much better to just get a yard unit. And you know, this car's got 250,000 miles on it. The car we got that off of, I think I paid $50 a side, and it only had 170,000 miles on it, so it should be good to go. For at least another 60,000, 70,000 more miles. And at that point, this will be at 300,000 miles, and we can go get another 170,000 miles set of bearings and put them back in there and keep it going forever and ever. That's the great thing about Corollas too, is they sold really well. So whenever you need parts, you can usually get them same day or any salvage yard. At least around here, we're in the Atlanta area down here, so you can get plenty of Corolla parts for these old ones down here. Now, if you live in the Rust Belt, I hear these did not do too well regarding rust. I don't know that. I don't not know that either, so I am somebody else, maybe Eric O, can tell us if they're pieces of crap or not. Although I will say I've never seen a video from SMA of him working on one of these, so I guess if he's not having to work on them, I guess they're not broken. It absolutely 100% helps if you tell the car exactly how you feel about it while you're working on it. So if it's being a jerk and your little discount auto parts store or hardware store Ratchet is not doing the business, this is the motivator. It will not be stuck long. I don't really want to use the breaker bar on stuff like this, guys, at home, because that takes up time to go switch the heads. So if you get one of these ratcheting long skinny ratchets, we showed you in another video that we did a top 5 tool reviews that I use, a thinner version of this ratchet that's being used on the other side of the shop over there. That is for this exact purpose. It's long and thin, you get lots of leverage, it can save you a lot of time. Of course, talking to the camera doesn't save me any time, but rather than switching back and forth from ratchet to breaker bar and losing your mind trying to find stuff, just use a long ratchet that'll do the ratcheting motion, and that'll get the job done for you without you having to do all those extra steps. So that's my advice. Alright guys, once you got your brakes off, you're going to need to fight this cotter pin out, which was so ridiculous and long that it didn't require us filming it. But you get this cotter pin out of here, and you'll get this wing donger, which is the official term, of course, of this thing off of this right here. So the cotter pin was in like so. It went all the way through, and then this thing. So once you get both of those off, set them aside if you're going to reuse them. I am not. I'm going to put a new one on there because that one was such a unpleasant being. So once you get that, there's a 17 millimeter for the ball joint on the bottom. You're going to take out one giant bolt like this, and then it feels like there's two nuts. Hold on here. Got a pair of these nuts. We'll get those off now. And they look like this. So get these guys off. Tie rods can be huge jerks. This is my anti-jerk tool. You can use it to tune your piano. You can also use it to stab through this piece of, pound it off like you just saw in the last scene. These can be rented at auto parts stores if you don't have it. But if you attempt this job and your tie rod is any kind of rusty, this isn't even that rusty of a car, it's a Southern car. Go get one of these, because you're probably going to need it. You sit there and pound on it all day long, didn't move. This will move it. It doesn't get a choice when you use this. Okay, if you're doing this with hand tools in your garage, I hope you watched the whole video through and through before you attempted. Because if you don't have a Ugga-Dugga device, you should have done this with the tire still on and a breaker bar. I have an Ugga-Dugga device, which means axle nut is This is a strut bolt. Well, this is actually a strut nut. Pair of these nuts. There's a strut nut. You're gonna take the strut bolt off after you get the strut nut out. Now, some Corollas, these are lobed, which affects alignment, but mine does not seem to be because I think it's aftermarket, so that's okay. But if they're lobed, you need to note which way they're facing, or just get an alignment afterwards. I'm taking the tie rod off. It does so much other work. I'll probably just align this thing afterwards, and it'll be nice and fine. But if you're not wanting to pay for an alignment and you're using junkyard parts to save your wallet, note that so you don't chew through tires you don't want to have to pay for. So just be aware that that's a thing. So now we're gonna take both these off. It's gonna be loud with this, so we're gonna go back to what we were. Yeah, she done. It's very hard to show on video, but this actually wobbles back and forth. Actually, no, it's not. This was about to fall off, and you can see back here, get the light, you can see all sorts of rusty crap inside the bearing where it's supposed to be nice and clean. She done. So that's all right. She gave her 2 weeks notice 3 weeks ago, so it's gonna change today. Junk. Now we're gonna get our new one, and we're gonna make sure it fits. And I took it off one that looks exactly like this one, so hopefully it does. And here we go. I'm only doing that once, so I hope you caught that on camera. So, viewers, if you are doing this job and you get frustrated as crap trying to put one of these back, just remember, even the professionals hate cotter pins with a burning passion, and you are not alone. Always put them on in a star pattern, kids. When it comes from the salvage yard and the threads are foobar, motivate it. I'm just kidding, you shouldn't do this. Definitely not the right way to do that. That one's fine. She's good to go. Well, that is not good at all. But I think it's a back plate, so it's okay. I am bending the black back plate away from the rotor so it will stop making scary as hell noises. There we go. Now it's fine. I don't hear any horrendous bearing noises either. And our play is normal now. It's just the strut up there doing its thing now. So good. Now we put the hubcap back on and go for a spin, and hopefully that doesn't end in a disaster. But that's how to replace a bearing in a 1998 to 2002 Toyota Corolla. I think that might even go back even further into the 95-ish range of Toyota Corollas. But definitely 98 to 02 for sure. And that's how to do it without pressing it, because, well, that's a lot of time you don't want to spend on your car. The more time you spend driving, the more money you make, not fixing the crap when it's yours. So.